Every contractor knows you should have great content to brand and sell your products, but how do you get that great content? I mean, do you take out a cell phone and film it yourself? Do you hire a company to bring in, or maybe you actually hire someone in-house? There's a lot of different options. Earlier this week, I saw a video from a colleague of ours, Joseph Hughes with Contractor Dynamics. He made an argument for videographers, bringing somebody in from the outside and having them do the content for your business. Now, I run a media company, so I have to say I'm a little bit biased, but I want to give you a different perspective on what Joe had to say. I believe that you need to see both sides for your business before making such a big decision. You see, the content that you create is actually the storefront to your business. And so what I want to do for you today is I want to give a little rebuttal, maybe another side to what I saw from Joe earlier this week. Let's roll the first clip and I'll give you my reaction.
In any area in the country, there exists usually young kids, sometimes older, but a lot of young kids who have the skills, they have the equipment, they're able to create video content, and they're looking for an awesome brand or company to be able to work with to get that experience. So these people are already out there. It's not like you have to bring someone in from a big city or hire a big production company. These video guys or girls, these freelancers, are all over the place. Over the past 10 years at Contractor Dynamics, we have had so many different video people. So these people are out there. You can go to your local high schools, go to your local colleges. You can throw a job ad out there on social media.
All right, so there's a few things I got to say about this. You throwing a job out there, job ad out there on social media, it's not going to work like you think it's going to. And here's the reason why. The quality individuals to create video content are not all over the place. This is a falsity, if you want to look at it that way. We've tried to bring in hundreds of individuals into my company to work as videographers. And there are talented people that are out there for sure, but they're not plenty. They're not just falling off of trees. And as a contractor, you should take something else into consideration. Do you know how to hire this individual? Do you know the contract that you're going to sign with them and who's going to train them? Because here's the thing. They're not going to know anything about your business. They're not going to understand roofing. They're not going to know what drip edge is. And honestly, they're probably not going to care. See, all these talented people that are out there, they don't want to sell roofing. It's not sexy, everyone. And I know we love the profession, you love your industry, but you have to take that into consideration. The other thing you should think about when you're going out there and you're hiring somebody from a high school or a college is, are they going to understand what you're trying to accomplish with video? And if they're not, are you going to have to go through a number of different of these people to try to find the right one? And what is that going to cost you in turnover and headache and in your brand? There's a lot of other things to consider. But for now, let's get back to this video.
We say, hey, here's what I'm looking for on a monthly basis or on a weekly basis. Usually it's a monthly basis. Talk with a video person and say, hey, here's what I want. I want you to come with me to some job sites. I want to shoot video testimonials. I want to shoot our team meeting once a month. I want to do a happy hour here and there. So you might be looking at 4 days a month of shooting video, and that person's gonna go back and do the editing. So that takes a lot of time as well. So figure out what that scope of work is, and then get prices from different video people, negotiate, figure out what makes sense for you. And then you could establish a monthly retainer. That way it's predictable revenue for the video person, it's predictable cash flow out the door for you, and holds you accountable to actually doing that video content, shooting those videos every month, because you know you're gonna pay for it either way. So that's what I would look for in terms of budget. You're looking at 60 to 80 grand on a full-time basis, and then you're gonna look for, I would say, 1 to 2 grand a month, depending on how much content you need, maybe 3 grand a month if it's a little bit heavier duty and they're traveling a little bit more.
Okay, one of the things that jumped out to me here is scope of work. Joe is saying that to go out there, hire somebody, and then give them a scope of work. Go out there to a job site or testimonials or go to a company event. Now, here's my question for the average contractor. Do you know what you want to film? Do you know the videos day in, day out that you want to include somebody on? And if you had a retainer with somebody for $3,000 a month, do you know the job sites and the things you want that individual to film when they're out there? And I would tell you that you don't. And I know this just because of hundreds of conversations I've had with contractors. I see them bring somebody in-house and they don't know what to do with that individual. Now, in fairness, Contractor Dynamics, I'm sure, offers a course to somebody about how to teach someone or the videos in which they can create. But the accountability, in my opinion, happens when you have somebody in the industry like myself or another professional company who's going to hold you accountable, not someone out of high school or out of college or that you've brought on a retainer. You've got to have skin in the game with somebody that can hold you accountable to what you want to do. And that, in my opinion, is a big difference between a company like ours and going out there and trying to hire somebody for 3 or 4 days on a retainer, hoping it's going to turn out well for you and your company.
On exactly what this videographer is doing. In an ideal world, this video person is doing the video shooting, they're doing the video editing, and throw you a curveball, but extremely important one, they're also coaching you on the video content. So I'll explain that in just a minute. That video guy or girl is going to be subcontracting some of that editing because editing is very time intensive. So they might be subbing some of that editing out, which is fine, but that video person should still have that final say, that quality control level, so they're not shipping out garbage to you or things with spelling errors or things like that, right? So that they're gonna shoot the video, they're gonna edit the video, and then it's a non-negotiable for me because I've been through so many different video people. Some of them just sit there and turn the camera on and don't do any coaching. Corey, who we work with right now, and also John and Pedro, we work with as well for many years, they coach me and our team on video. So that means that we will sit down ahead of time, we'll plan out the video content. The ideal videographer is gonna be a student and practitioner of the game. They're gonna understand how video should be structured.
Wow, I've got to say, this is probably the part of the video that Joe and I disagree with the absolute most. There are two things that were said in here. Contractors, please take a listen to this and think about this from a real world perspective. Number one is the editing. All right. Never allow somebody to outsource your video content. Always have control over that content. You don't want that to go to somebody that you've never met, somebody you don't have a contract with, and somebody you don't know what they're going to do with the footage. When you hire someone, you better make sure the buck stops with them. In addition to that, when you do outsource editing, which people do because it's time consuming and it's not easy, looking around, I have editing all going around me right now. When you do that, you lose all quality control, because when you as a contractor need a change or revisions to that video, because you need to run maybe something on a streaming service that day, maybe an opportunity has come up like a storm and you need to take advantage of it. You're not going to be able to, because that person out there who you've outsourced it to, they don't care about your business. And so you've got a retainer with somebody who's outsourcing something and they don't care about you. And if you have someone that is on that retainer that does it in-house, good luck. You better hope you're their top priority, because they're also taking retainers from other individuals and they have no accountability to doing well for you. Where are you going to go? They're Google My Business. You're going to give them what? A 1-star review? They don't care about the industry and their reputation within it. You've got to be careful when it comes to editing. And this whole entire thing about quality control goes out the window when you're outsourcing or not working with somebody that's beholden to the industry. The other side of this is coaching. We're talking about asking somebody to be a videographer, a coach, and an editor in an industry, as we just said, that we're finding what? A high school or college individual or film school grad. And you expect somebody like yourself, maybe you're a 45-year-old business owner, and you're going to take advice from the 21-year-old grad on the coaching they're going to give you? I doubt it. You're going to want someone who has a track record within the industry of proving they know how to do video. Asking someone to do one thing well is difficult. Finding someone to do all three, next to impossible. Joe and Contractor Dynamics, they have a little bit of advantage. Joe knows what the message is and what he wants to get across. You as a contractor, you don't. And that's not your fault. You're trying to run a business. You should work with someone who understands the struggles and the difficulties that you have and the time constraints that you have on top of that.
So that's key. You don't want to show up on the job site or show up to shoot videos. It's like, all right, what do you want to talk about today? Camera's rolling, you're trying to think of ideas, you're sweating, distracted, like it's not going to be good. So what Corey and I do, and this is essential, it takes a little bit of time, but it's so worth it because you want to create content that your market is actually engaging with. It's actually interesting, right? You don't want to create boring content. You don't want to create stream of consciousness content where no one's going to tune in. You got to plan ahead. So what Corey and I will do is we'll either meet in person or we'll meet on Zoom and we'll map out a few different concepts. Now, we're not scripting the videos out line by line, but we are bullet pointing them, okay? We're talking about, hey, what's the objective of these videos? Why are we creating these videos? Where are they going to live? And then we're gonna map them out one video at a time with a few bullet points under each one.
There's some good and some bad to what Joe is saying right here. First of all, I do agree that you have to plan out your video content. Now, if somebody doesn't have experience in the roofing space or whatever, let's say home contracting vertical that you're in, do you expect them to understand how to plan that content? No. Now, what he's saying is you have to take the time and you have to sit down with that person and plan it out with them. But I'm telling you, this will not happen. In the real world, that person will get pushed to the side within your business, even if they work internally or they're on a retainer. They won't do it because you're not going to want to do it yourself. And holding each other accountable is so important when it comes to content. The second thing that I want to say I disagree with here is bullet points. Let's take something very seriously here. Joseph Hughes and Contractor Dynamics and myself included, I'm in front of a camera almost every single day. As a contractor, you're not. We've tried the bullet points with contractors and it doesn't work because when you get in front of the camera, it's a lot more difficult than what you think. What we aim to do is provide full scripts to our contractors of what they can say based on pre-production that we have with them. It's not cookie cutter. It's based on conversations that we have. We take their words and then we make them into something that's engaging for their customers. They simply have to take those words, put the inflection on them, and put them in front of the camera right here. That is the proper way to do it. When you do bullet points, people don't want to know what to say. They freeze up or they talk too much. I'm telling you folks, you have to take in the other side of this, from the textbook to the real world. What is going to work for your contracting business? I believe that Joe has a great business, an outstanding group of people around him, and his videographers surely fall into that category. But for the contractor out there in the world, I am telling you, if you go down this route, you are going down one that will cause you more difficulty and more hardship and frustration than if you hire a company like ours at Blue Collar Media Group. With that said, I love Joe, love the work that they do over there, but I am completely biased to what we do here. We produced over 2,000 videos for contractors in the last year. I believe that we're the experts in the field, and I hope that more contractors will work with us so they can see the amazing results that we've given to others. Joe, I'll see you at the next conference. Love what you guys do. Contractors, make the best decision for your business.
Nice.